Yes, the main reason was the quality of the meteorology department. I had heard it was a good department at two previous colleges where I was, and so when they had an opening, I applied for it. Second reason is that both my wife and I enjoy the life up here in the Northeast Kingdom, and the solitude and the quietness and the just the laid-back style that people enjoy up here in a clean environment. I've been at Lyndon State College now. This is my 26th year, and in 1982, my wife and I were looking for opportunities to pursue our profession, which is special education. And her parents live in this area, so I wrote to Lyndon State College and asked if there was a position open, and there happened to be a position for professor of special education. So I applied and got the job. And the reason we wanted to come to Lyndon was because we both wanted to pursue, again, our professional interests. We wanted to live in a rural area that gave us access to the outdoors, and we also wanted to live near her parents, and Lyndon State College provided the happy combination of all three.
When I left CNN in Atlanta, we were looking for a place that was more rural. Atlanta was a city, it was a sprawling city that we never really fell in love with in the 13, 14 years we lived there. We were looking for a place where we could buy a nice old house and get some land. And here in northeastern Vermont, we were able to find that. We have a big old 1870s farmhouse on 2 acres with enough room for a big garden. And I mean, somebody who used to live there had a horse at one time. So we just like this area.
I was a student back in the late 60s, and life interrupted my education, so I left when I was a junior and came back 20 years later in 1988 and finished my degree. I graduated in 1991, and then 2 years later this job came open, so I applied and they hired me. So that's why I'm from Lyndonville. I was born and raised here, so this is pretty much the ideal place for me. I love Vermont and I love Lyndon State College, and I love my job.
I came here from the University of Minnesota, and I came here in 1987 to become director of Upward Bound. And I wanted to come back to the Northeast. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I wanted to come back to northern New England.
When I was in graduate school, there were really lots of different places that I thought about teaching and thought about working. And most of the places, I suppose, where I was interviewing and being considered for jobs were places like my graduate school, a big research university. And I really didn't want to do what I had been doing in a research university because I really wanted to concentrate on teaching. And that's why I went to graduate school was to get into teaching and to become a teacher. And I really didn't want to spend all of my time, working on books and articles and, doing all that stuff at the expense of teaching. But I also didn't really want to go to the kind of place where I'd been, in undergraduate, because it struck me that I didn't really need my professors very much at a school like that. What really appealed to me about Lyndon is that it saw itself as a liberal arts college that was working to provide the kind of education that I'd had, in a sort of pretty good circumstances, in a community and for students who didn't really have the same kind of access that I had. And to a certain degree, it seemed to me that I could be of more value at a place like Lyndon than I could at a place like Columbia University. They didn't really need me. And I didn't really need them. And there was a lot more to be done here. And there was a lot more, not exactly flexibility, but I was responsible for a lot more. So, I teach 20 classes, and I would never have had that kind of opportunity at, a large graduate school or even a, small liberal arts undergraduate elite university or college, just because they have so many more faculty. So I would have been, stuck in a particular niche. But I think also, I knew that I would have a teaching load twice what I would have at most other places, and I also knew that I would get paid about half what I was going to get paid at other places. But the trade-off was the greater sense of value doing something where it would really make a difference.